Dear Nick Spencer, anti-American comic writer, quote unquote. How dare you besmirch, that's a good word, this classic American iconic character that has never been in any bad stories or had any kind of continuity changes ever. I am so angry. I almost bought this issue to read it. Oh, if I had, I know I'd be even more angry. I feel like something's missing from my review, but I don't know what. Oh. Maybe I should read it. Give me a minute.
10 minutes later.
That is a good Hot Wheels ad. Alright, I am done reading this, and okay, it's actually pretty good. This issue, of course, is the first issue, written by Nick Spencer, and written by Jesus Az, and yeah, it's, of course, the first issue back after, of course, the huge Secret Wars continuity thingy-bob, and as well as the first time he is back as a young person. For those of you who haven't been paying attention, Captain America kind of got re-aged. His super soldier serum, I guess, ran out, and he became a 90-year-old guy again, and he went through this storyline at Pleasant Hill, which I did a couple of reviews of this crossover, and it ends with him and a reality-altering character changing him back to young. Also, Red Skull was involved, and I think that might have something to do with what's going on here. But cut to the story, we see a framing device where his mother, being attacked once again by his disgusting wife-beating father, is they encounter this woman who defends them and kind of like pushes him around, and then they start becoming friends. Intercut with Captain America going on a mission, trying to stop this young guy who had kind of just had a crappy life and joins Hydra and is becoming a suicide bomber on this mission. Also, we have this amazing, totally not political relevant speech that Red Skull gives, which I don't know what kind of speech. I've never heard a speech like this before, where he talks about he comes from his homeland, where it is now being attacked by an invading army of so-called refugees, and goes on about wanting to protect his culture. And I don't know what he's talking about at all. I don't know how that kind of fits into what's going on in the real world. Of course, I'm being sarcastic. And let's see. We get to see some old faces like Jack Flag and Free Spirit. Remember those guys from the 90s? And their new costumes look pretty good. Let's see. Jack Flag has kind of a Wildcats grifter mask, by the way, and totally works for him. We also see Rick Jones. Sharon Carter's here, and I don't remember the last time I've seen Sharon Carter, and she looks like she's more appropriate for her age, because she's always struck me as like a little too young to be Peggy Carter's niece or even grandniece. So she seems to be more appropriate. I may have missed what's going on with that. Also, there is a scene with Maria Hill, who is a little bit in political trouble with what went down with the whole Pleasant Hill thing. She's still dealing with that fallout. There's a nice, wonderful scene of Rick Jones talking with Jack Flag and Free Spirit. They bring up, like, Captain America's period as a werewolf and that weird armor that he was wearing that was terrible. Essentially, Nick Spencer is mentioning, I think, within this comic, like, hey, Captain America's been through some weird stuff. This is more weird stuff. Relax. Anyway, here's the thing, because of the internet and because the story broke and made everybody kind of nuts, pretty much like blows a really intriguing, gut-punching kind of cliffhanger. We get to see in flashback this woman and Steve's mom, Sarah, having dinner together, and she it gives her an invite to this new cool club called Hydra. And, she talks about having good plans for him. Meanwhile, let's see, this scientist that Steve was able to rescue from Baron Zemo, he seems to have his own plans, taking him away and, saying, Hail Hydra at the end of this. While presumably maybe killing Jack Flag by throwing him out of the plane. Of course, it's a cliffhanger, and Jack Flag had this kind of hovering vehicle thing that was around, so he may or may not be okay. So, what's going on here? I severely doubt that Nick Spencer has just rewritten his history, turning him into a Hydra Nazi. That's not how comic books work, and I've read a couple. If you've met comic books, this kind of thing happens. I presume this is some reality-altering time thingy. Actually, that was my first assumption, because frankly, Captain America would not be this. Even if... And first off, Nick Spencer, would not do this, and the editors would not let him do this, and it wouldn't even make any sense for their continuity, because frankly, if he was a Hydra agent all this time, he's a pretty crappy Hydra agent. He's actually been he would have been the worst undercover Hydra agent of all time. It's like when Obama was going into the White House and people were suggesting he was a secret Muslim terrorist. Well, he's been a pretty crappy one, because he's actually caused a lot of deaths of terrorists, and even killed off that Osama bin Laden guy. Pretty bad, pretty awful terrorist, I think. Same thing here. And, yeah, it's obvious to me reading this, and especially when you sit down and you get over your anger and you look at what Nick Spencer's doing, it's obvious there's a beginning, middle, end to this, and I presume that Red Skull has done something, and he has turned his greatest enemy into a lackey. And there is actually a scene in here where Steve and Sharon are talking, and he discusses getting kind of beaten up during this really exciting train fight, by the way. And he talks about, how he's just a little bit klutzy, and he almost feels like, what is this line? He has a line about not feeling right in his body. He feels like a stranger in my own body. Now, of course, that's clever kind of trick he's doing, where you're thinking, oh, well, he was just a 90-year-old last week, and now he's like a young guy again. I think that's not exactly what's going on here. I think that's another hint. So, yeah, that's what I think is happening. And is this well done? Yeah, I think this is really well done. The dialogue among all these characters is terrific. There is a nice sense of history where we talk about some of the days of the 90s and some of the sillier stuff. Red Skull's political happenings here, where he kind of it shows you how he seduces people into joining Hydra. Also, Baron Zemo is going to challenge him. He's planning to challenge him, and he actually hates what Red Skull has been doing, because he feels like he's getting the worst of the worst, people who are broken. And Zemo feels like Hydra should be the best of the best. And that's his plan when we see him at the end of this issue. Always nice to see Baron Zemo. I've always really liked that character. So, yeah, is it good? Yeah. Did it make me angry? No, because I've read a comic book. I think I know how this stuff works. If you're really super angry and you haven't read this, you probably should read it. I guess my biggest complaint is $5! Man, Nick Spencer. Other than that, I think it's a pretty entertaining read. I do say it's no more anger-inducing than anything else that they do, either at Marvel or DC. and it's definitely worth your look, especially if you're a Captain America fan. This is potentially exciting storyline. It's too bad that it was blown by the internet and getting leaked, because if they were able to keep a secret on this, that would have been a shocking ending. Let me tell you. So, is this good? Yeah, I liked it a lot. I'm going to give this 5 RAM chips. And will I be buying more of this? I did admittedly buy this because everybody's angry about it. And, whoo-hoo, yeah, everybody loves being angry about it, stuff, isn't it? I may check out a couple more of these issues. I can't keep up with $5 an issue. I hope that's just for this one. My probably biggest complaint, frankly. All right, I think that's it for now. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to continue. I'm going to write a new angry letter. Dear Steve Baxi, how dare you attack me personally by not liking this thing I like? Push the button, Lindsay.